Hi, and welcome to my video presentation on conflict and leadership. My name is Lorenz Delmischak. We'll first look at what is conflict. Well, according to Gary Harper, conflict can be seen as an attack on the self-esteem or the ego. We can see our values threatened or have fear that someone or something will deprive us of what's desired or needed. It often leads to feeling victimized with a need to blame someone or something else. Within the workplace, there are many different forms of workplace conflict. We'll be looking at them in the next slide. For instance, there's intrapersonal, intergroup, and intragroup. There's also a difference between task and relational conflict. Within the workplace, conflict is often seen as destructive, but can also be viewed as constructive. It may be damaging to morale and output, but it can also be an opportunity for creativity and innovation. In a study on workplace conflict, Riaz and Juniad outline a number of sources and consequences to conflict. These sources can be broken down further into effective conflict, so conflict within someone's relationship. It could be substantive conflict or conflict around the tasks that you have been given. Intrapersonal conflict is about your roles and ability to complete them. Understanding leadership offers us another way to understand conflict. Leadership is not a fixed point definition, but is rather a moving target where personnel, personal, policy, and politics jockey for position. I'd like to look at the role of three types of leaders. The servant leadership, which is caretaking. It's used to create safety in an organization and can promote stronger work ethic and a personal sense of ownership over the work being done. Transformational leadership tends to have four dimensions: an idealized influence, inspirational motivation, intellectual stimulation, and individualized consideration. And finally, ethical leadership, where the leader is seen as ethical and trustworthy, where their openness, consistency, integrity, and competence impacts a teacher's sense of self-efficacy and ability to thrive in the workplace. To me, these three forms of leadership work well when mitigating and handling conflict. I often turn to this quote by Leithwood to examine what exactly leadership has a purpose for. Leaping forward from a wobbly foundation does produce change, just not the kind most of us think of as good. Leadership is all about organizational improvement. More specifically, it is all about establishing widely agreed upon and worthwhile directions for the organization. It is all about direction and influence. Stability is the goal of what's called management. Improvement is the goal of leadership. I enjoy this quote because change is often a number one contributor to workplace conflict. But without change, there can be no improvement. This then puts leadership in a unique position to both create and mitigate conflict in the workplace. I see four core leadership activities that are necessary to maintaining a worthwhile working environment. The leader should be the one setting directions, developing people, organizing and building relationships within the school community. Having a strong leader can create a stronger moral identity within the organization. It impacts all of the followers and can mitigate unwanted behavior and conflict. This is taken from a study on ethical leadership. Of course, leadership impacts a teacher's sense of self-efficacy. And having a sense of a leader as ethical and trustworthy increases the teacher's trust and ethics within the organization as well. Leithwood and Beattie have a lot of information on how teacher self-efficacy and the emotional internal world of teachers is affected by leadership roles. Having a strong sense of self-efficacy and self-concept can help a teacher manage a conflict that may arise in their workplace with grace and growth. Thank you for viewing this presentation. I hope you have found something interesting here. May you and all beings be well.